have this idea of hell and what it must be. I don't think there's going to be anybody there. At least, like, in my opinion, it's being all alone. There's nothing to look at. It's like being in an empty room. And all you're left with is your thoughts. Which is how I feel right now. Which is how a lot of people with depression feel. They feel alone. They might be around people, but when you're in this state, you are in an empty room. There's no stimulation. There's no distraction. You won't have your phone. You won't have the internet. You won't have a landline. You'll just sit there, stare at the wall, and all you'll have is your thoughts. You'll have, I think you'll have memories of your experiences, and I think you'll just have plenty of time to run over those things, and just like I'm doing now. Like, I can't imagine things getting worse than that. Things out of my control could happen in my life. Kind of like this. I guess this is kind of out of my control. In some ways. But it's so deep and just gnawing. I hate it. I can't even describe it. I can't even put thoughts down with it. It's just terrible. Like, I just talking to this mic to distract me from the empty room with no stimulation and no hope to get out. There's no escape. There's no door. There's no window. You just breathe and you think. And your thoughts are never good or polite. You remember all of the negative things. Because when you're in this room and you can't escape, you think of all the things that put you into this room. And your ultimate conclusion is that it's yourself. And so you think of all of the things that you've done that have put you here. Because nobody else puts you here. You might stew on somebody else and blaming somebody else for a while. And you can probably maybe you can go years of doing that. Creating a hell like that. But in the end, you stop blaming this other person. And you start blaming yourself. And that's when hell really begins. And you don't blame things that were out of your control. You blame yourself for the things that you had control over. The mistakes that you made. The things that you could take back. The things that you couldn't clean up. Or, I think humanity likes the idea of redemption. Even if you don't believe in God, there's this idea that you can redeem yourself, that there's some kind of morality, right? Even society is built on laws and rules with consequences and benefits to following those rules, And there are redemptive qualities in society too. Even if you don't believe in God, it's there. Like, humanity wants to be redeemed. Like, there's just this yearning to redeem yourself. And I feel like when you are depressed and you're in this room, that quality goes away. That feeling leaves you. Like I was talking about before, it's like a palatable, emptiness. You feel whatever contentment that you had, it just leaves. And you feel it physically. And it is... it's like suffocating. almost. This emptiness. You wouldn't think so. You'd think being in this room would be closing in on you, but that's not what's suffocating you. What's suffocating you is the void. It's what's closing in on you. Nothing going infinitely in one direction, the next direction, or the other direction, and there's nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing in your mind. There's nothing you have to focus on. But what really comes clear when you're in this spot are memories. And you have thoughts of redemption when you're in this hell. But they don't come. You wish they could come. It's not like you're hopeful that they will. You realize that they're not coming, no matter how hard you think about it. Even thinking about it to the point of developing hope for it, it still doesn't come like it should, like you think that it should, to take you out of this this lull, this room, this hell that you're trapped in. There's no time limit. You don't know when it's going to end. There's no door, there's no window. So every day blends together. You start losing track of time, and before you know it, months have passed. Because there's no point of, what's the word for it? There's no point of reference after a while. You stop counting the days. You stop measuring things. It's like working the night shift when you go from one day to the next. It all blends together. You never know what day it is. You're always checking a point of reference. Well, when you're in depression and you're in this box, there is no watch, there's no phone, there's nothing to check the time, there's no window to see the cycles of day. You don't even see those anymore. You don't even leave your room. You just are. You're breathing. You're either eating too much or you're not eating at all. But the thing about eating or not eating is it's not even there. It's all in your head at this point. You think you're eating, but you're not. You're not enjoying it. It's not pleasurable. It's just another function. It's like another. It's just up in your head, at this point. And so there is no reference. The meals blend together. Everything blends together. Everything goes gray. Everything closes in on you. You start feeling like you can't breathe. And for someone who's claustrophobic like me, that's terrifying. You start getting really fearful. You start getting panicky over nothing. You're not even thinking anymore, and you start having panic attacks, and you're unable to breathe. That's what kind of hell is in store for me. That's what I have to deal with. That's what I've dealt with for months. And there's no escape. Alcohol doesn't help. Nothing helps. You do it just because you think that it will, but it's so empty like everything else in your life. And there's no elation, there's no response. You want your brain to pump out the dopamine, and it doesn't. You're just breathing. And you're just obsessing over yourself. And you like almost absorb into this void that's around you. And you lose yourself, and you're no longer there. All the pain gathers around you. I mean, it's just a terrible place to be. Hell is a terrible place. It's empty, it's alone. And all you're left with is yourself. And all you have to blame is yourself. And you have all the time in the world to think about it. You really can't do anything about it. You can't stop it. It just comes and it takes over you.